now the latest on June 10th around the wide world of tropics. Here's your tropical weather bulletin. So, we still have no storms active at this time, but there could be one that's about to form off the western coast of India this morning. Local time that would be, this June the 10th. So far we're up to 26 storms, 27 may be right around the corner. It's day 10 of the Atlantic hurricane season, there's nothing active here. Nothing to speak of whatsoever. Same too for the Eastern Pacific, which is uncharacteristically quiet at this early part of the season. Day 27 so far, no storms yet. The Indian Ocean has Invest 93A, which we're putting at a 90% chance of development. It's pretty much assured and pretty soon too. And in the Southern Hemisphere, no systems active at all at this time. So the main feature, the only feature, is Invest 93A. Here it is right now. Satellite estimated winds of 50 miles per hour and a pressure around 1000 millibars, but it doesn't have a center at this point, which is why it is not yet a tropical cyclone. 12.2 degrees north, 70.9 degrees east. We expect it to become a tropical storm later today and then intensify significantly according to the GFS model, could reach category 3 by the middle part of the week and then approaching the coast of India over the border to Pakistan. Could be a significant cyclone by the time it gets there. So wind shear is pretty low over the system at this point. There's at least two competing centers inside this soon-to-be cyclone, and once one of them becomes dominant, probably the one further east that is centered with that low wind shear right now, then it will soon become a tropical cyclone, and then it could intensify much more quickly. Some models saying it will do it very quickly indeed. Looking around the world, the North Atlantic looks like this today. The equatorial region is a little bit more active than it has been recently, and very first tropical waves are starting to make their way across from the coast of Africa towards South America. The Gulf of Mexico is extremely dead at this point, much different to what we were looking at last time. The Eastern Pacific also starting to get a little bit more convective activity towards the equator there, but still nothing really of note at all towards any tropical cyclone development. Hawaii looking fairly quiet as well. And really not much else to say there. The Western Pacific is again pretty mute too, one or two little areas of interest. We are looking quite closely at that frontal system that's moving through and digging down quite far towards the south. Whether anything tropical or subtropical might come out of that, there is a little inkling that some systems could come out of that, but probably none of them will be tropical. The Australian region and the South Pacific looks like this, a massive dry slot that we saw on that water vapor imagery just there that was moving through, and the Indian Ocean looks like this, so you can see the system 93A on the left hand side, and on the right in the Bay of Bengal another interesting but probably not going to develop system there, but there is an inkling from one of the models or two of the models maybe that there could be something forming there later this week. Sea surface temperatures pretty warm in the Eastern Pacific, around 28, 29, maybe even pushing towards 30 degrees Celsius. The Atlantic, Western Caribbean is the hot spot really, and the Gulf, 28 or 29 degrees. But one of the world's hot spots right now is the Indian Ocean, which is where we're looking at the minute. 30 degrees plus, as you can see there, for a large part of the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, and also in the South China Sea if we get any early development in the Western Pacific. But the Indian Ocean in particular, that's why we're watching very closely this system, Invest 93A, which could become the next named storm, most likely will later today or tomorrow. And then we could see some rapid development of phase off, and then probably some decaying of its intensity before it reaches any land areas. Alright, so the naming lists look like this. Barry is the next name in the Atlantic. The Eastern Pacific is still waiting for its first named storm, which will be called Alvin. The Central Pacific has its next named storm, Akoni. Elsewhere in the Western Pacific, the next name on the list is Sepat. In the North Indian Ocean, it's Vayu, and that will be the name of that Arabian Sea cyclone if it does form. You can find Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com with the latest. Our YouTube page, Force 13, if you haven't subscribed so far, then please do. You can also find our Facebook and Twitter pages too. Search Force 13 all in text at Force 13 on Twitter. That's all for now. We'll have more updates and regular updates on the system in the Arabian Sea. You can also help the project become even better by becoming a patron. You can see more information about all the benefits involved by visiting patreon.com/Force13. You can also contact me on Discord. It's Fool13 at extension 9094 and Force13 on Skype. You can also find our server link to our Discord server for tropical weather chat in our description.